So I've been house husband maxing for almost a year now, and the last week or so, I changed what I've done. Right. So a good thing about being a house husband for almost a year is that I've got it down pat. I've got my efficiencies down. I get up in the morning. I know what I need to do. I get up, boom, 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 and it's all done. And then I found myself with spare time. I've got time that I can do other things. So what I like to do is I like to head down to my daughter's school about an hour before she finishes, so I can get a good park. Get a good park. But what I usually do in that then hour, because I'm sitting in a car, is then I have to I'm on my phone, I'm on social media or watching YouTube or anything. So this week I decided, you know what, I'm gonna get back into it. I'm gonna start reading a book, like an old style book with paper and words and stuff like that. So I started reading this book. Well, that reminds me, something when I got home from my daughter yesterday, picking up my daughter yesterday, something crazy happened. I'll yeah, I'll finish what I'm talking about and then I'll let you know the crazy story at the end. So yeah, so I started reading a book. Now it probably wasn't the easiest book to pick off the bat. Like I thought I'd read a book I'd heard about my entire life, but I've never read. And that was Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. My God, they've got some little words. There's a lot of words on those pages, and there's a lot of big words. And I'm not a really smart guy. I mean, I used to read a lot as a child. Like I was reading constantly, like books, 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 books. That's all I did is books. I actually have a quiz channel, and I think the reason why I do so well on the quiz myself is because that knowledge base I built as a child from just reading all the time. But I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, we didn't have streaming and stuff like that. We didn't have cell phones and social media and YouTube and that. When I was growing up, we had two TV channels. We had two TV channels. We had 1 and 2, and I lived in a valley, right? So in about the early 90s, they came out with TV3, TV3. But at my house, like we couldn't get it because there wasn't enough coverage of TV3 around New Zealand. So all the cool kids had TV3, and they'd tell us stories about what they saw on TV3, but I never saw it because I only had TV1 and 2. But anyway, that's the point. That's why I read a lot. So I read a lot of books. So I started reading Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged, and yeah, I mean, I heard a lot about it. It's very libertarian coded, I believe, right-wing libertarian coded. But yeah, I'd heard a lot about it, so I wanted to read it for myself so I can make my own opinion on it. So I've only started reading it this week. I haven't spent a lot of time, like an hour or two. So I'm not a big way into it, but just from my experience, from not having read a proper book for such a long time, like it was really clunky, really clunky. It was really hard to focus and read the book, And so like at the beginning, I was like, duh, 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 one word at a time, like an idiot, But I slowly started picking it back up again, and it started getting easier and easier to understand. A big issue was like my attention span. Like I'd start reading, and next thing you know, my mind's off over here, and I don't know what. And then I have to go back and reread, right? So I'm having to retrain myself how to focus and read a book. I think that's going to be good for my brain long term. But the thing I noticed, like, it really reinvigorated my love for reading, right? Because as I kept reading, I got better and better. I'm getting better and better. I'm getting back into it. I'm getting back into the groove of how to read a proper book. And then I hit that flow state, that flow state that readers know when you're not actually looking at words anymore. You're just experiencing pure comprehension, You guys, like, or am I being crazy? But, when you sort of, you're reading so much, you're just imagining in your mind what the book looks like a movie, but you're not actually seeing the words. And so I hit that, and I was like, my God, this is amazing. This is why I loved reading so much when I was a kid. So yeah, I'm gonna start reading a lot more now. And I think reading is a bit of a lost art. See, I was watching these videos where this guy would ask these people, hey, read this cue card, and they couldn't read. Like these were adult people, and they could barely read. And so that I think causes problems. Like if you can't read, it's more than just not being able to read. Like you can You can read to a basic level and understand road signs and live in modernity. But if you can't truly read, like you can't truly read. That's like your brain's not running at full speed. It's not running at full capacity. It's not running at its full potential. Like true reading. Like I remember I used to work in a factory back in the day, and it was the Colgate Palmolive factory. I used to work on the soap line, so I used to pack soap all day, and so they offered these courses and trainings and stuff like that. And so me being me, like I was like, oh, a speed reading course? Or what happened? So for 4 weeks, I'd spend an hour out of the factory on a speed reading course. It's like, yeah, sign me up. An hour not having to pack soap, and I'm still getting paid. And so I did the speed reading course, and what they did is they taught you how to chunk words. So like when I'm at my full power, I suppose you could say, when I'm actually properly reading, I'm not reading 1 word at a time. I'm reading like 3-4 words, boom, 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 and I'm just chunking it, and it's just pure meaning coming into my brain. Because think about like when a lot of people, they think of reading as like, I went to the zoo and I saw a lion. But then when you're driving, think about what you're seeing. There's all this information coming into your brain constantly, and you can train yourself to read like that as well. Like you're looking at the front windscreen of your car, but you're just chunking these words, and that's when you can get into that real flow state and just like absorb pure meaning, and just play a movie in your head. No, spat, yuck. But yeah, so I found that I'm really liking reading. Obviously, yeah, Ayn Rand's Atlas Shrugged. Clearly, it has an ideology. Like I'm pretty early into it, but one bit that's really stuck out to me was when Henry Reardon went back home after he's just poured his new metal, and he went home, and his family are just giving him absolute assholes, right? And he pays for their entire existence. He pays for their existence, and they're just giving him grief for working all the time and inventing this new metal and driving forward human progress and stuff. And you can see that the writers, sort of leading you towards, look, his family are parasites. They're parasites who are, and they're thankless parasites. They're living a good life because of his work and his entrepreneurship and innovation. And they're still not happy about it. But at the same time, it was dinner with his mother. He should have been at home. He should have planned his day better. But anyway, I'll give you a book review of Atlas Shrugged if you want to. Let me know in the comments if you want a book review of Atlas Shrugged. When I finish reading the book, which will take me a long time because I'm not doing a lot of reading. I'm still only reading an hour at a time, sort of a day. A couple of hours a week at the moment, so I am going to boost that up. But yeah, it will take me a while. Plus, I've got to get back into it. But yeah, it's got me actually thinking. Actually, so if we look at the state of the modern world, like we look at the world in the modernity, and we see everyone's become very sedentary, physically, and everyone's getting a lot bigger and fatter, basically, and obviously the detrimental health outcomes that come from that, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, cancers and stuff. So lack of exercise. Modernity's made life so easy. We're not moving as much. We're eating too much junk food, and that's having physical issues. But what we don't look at, right, because not only are we not moving our bodies, we've also made our world so cognitively easy that our brain muscle is not getting exercised as much. And so you see that a lot with people not reading, right? So today you don't have to, everything's been programmed and stuff to make things easier, so you don't have to think, you don't have to do things with your brain. It's all one button push go. We've got social media destroying our attention span, and we've got YouTube and streaming. People aren't reading, people aren't exercising their brain. And I think that's part of the issue we have with modern media as well, because lately I've been rewatching the X-Files. I started rewatching Stargate SG-1 from the beginning. Oh, so good. Such a good show. But these old shows are good, right? These shows in particular, X-Files, they're sort of story of the week with an overarching narrative for a season. But the way they propose their problems and stuff, they're sort of ambiguous, and they let the viewer sort of come to their own conclusion of what the right thing to do or not do, and that sort of stuff. They had faith and trust in their viewers, that they were smart enough to come to their own conclusion, rightly or wrongly or whatever. Whereas more modern shows, and with modern shows, you do get a lot less of the, story of the week type shows. You sort of get like 10-hour movies, cut up into 10 segments, which is, single narrative arc shows aren't bad. I mean, if we look at Lost from the early 2000s, one of the greatest shows ever, I think. And that was a single narrative arc, basically. Had little stories in every episode and stuff, but it was basically a single narrative arc, and it was great. I loved it. But the modern ones, where it's sort of like a 10-hour movie and it's sort of cut up, I don't really like it. And then also, when you do have, like, with the latest Star Trek, for example, it's not really like, it might be a story of the week sort of format, but they're not really giving you information and allowing you to ambiguous information and making you come up and think about it. It's sort of like more like a lecture, right? So they're like, this is the correct way to think, and if you think differently, then you are bad, right? It's sort of more like a lecture trying to tell you how to think. And I think that's a lot of the problems we have in the modern world, right? Like we've lost faith. And I think the reason they've had to do that is because the people writing it, they haven't had their brain challenged. And so, like, the body has become overweight due to sedentary lifestyle, due to the lack of mental exercise. People aren't able to accurately argue in their head their position, right? And so if there's a position that, cognitive dissonance gets a lot more severe, I think, when you don't have the mental exercise to figure out a coherent position for yourself. Hopefully this makes sense. But, I'm just trying to smooth my consciousness out at the moment. If it doesn't make sense, let me know. And if I'm being stupid, let me know in the comments. But yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about, right? I just wanted to talk about how I think the modern world is made us, is in an effort to make everything so easy, is actually making us weaker. It's making us weaker not only physically but also mentally. You see it when people are like those people like look what happened to Charlie Kirk. Like, whether you agree with Charlie Kirk or not, whatever, he didn't have an extreme position. He was pretty center-right Christian values, right? Now, you can disagree with that 100%. You can do whatever. If you don't like that and you disagree with it, fine. But then it should be easy to counter his arguments, right? Like, if you, and he was going to universities, and these kids who are in universities where they should be training their brain to think, where they should be training their brain to go outside of their worldview and look at things from a different direction, like what that Charlie Kirk guy was trying to do. They can't do it, and it feels like an attack, and that's why he got shot. I think him asking people to think differently than how they've been trained to think or taught to think made them feel like, gave them cognitive dissonance, and they felt that was a physical attack because it makes them feel physically weird or uncomfortable. They felt like him proposing these points was a physical attack, and that's why he got shot. And that's a direct result from us not exercising our brains enough. It's a direct response to us not really looking at things from different perspectives and being able to articulate it well in our mind. And we've lost that ability to articulate these positions in our mind because the world's become so easy and we're not reading and stuff like that. I mean, some people are reading and those people aren't having these issues, right? But the ones who aren't really reading, and like I'll put up a video, I mean, I probably did put up a video earlier of the people who can't read.
Read this sentence! Keep electronically re-emitted and electronically macerated romantic compassion. Disproportionately imitate $60. 60. Oh, this for $60? That's a lot of reading for fucking $60. Distribute to a fight. Facilitate her anticipated consumer-oriented retail excursion. We sending that bitch out the country.
Those people are going to see contrary opinions as violence because they are unable to articulate and see the different points of view. So yeah. So yeah, just read more. I really get into it. And yeah. Oh yeah, so I'll get the funny story from yesterday was, it's not really funny, it's kind of horrifying. It's actually kind of horrifying. So I left home at around just 1:45, because I left a bit earlier because I wanted to do more reading. And so I went down to my daughter's school. I found a good park close to the gate, and I just read my book. Daughter gets in the car, I get home, and my son's at home. And so she's a little shit, so I sent her to her room for a timeout after school straight away. But then my son comes up, he's like, I heard someone yelling, help, and I hear banging from next door. So of course I'm having issues with my leg yesterday. I can't really do the stairs that well. So I say, can you go over there and have a check? And he's like all shy, he's like doesn't want to and stuff. He's mucking around. Oh, I don't want to, I'm too shy. I'm too embarrassed to go over there. What if there's not a problem? And and they ask me what I'm doing there. So then I go out the back and I hear someone yelling again, banging, help, help, help me. I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, Hunter, son, get over there. And my son's name's Hunter. I'm like, Hunter, get over there. And you need to get over there right now. I'm coming too. So I start limping my way over there. You got these really awkward stairs, like no handrails and stuff, and my legs gammy as shit. So I end up having to go up on my hands and knees somewhat because my legs just not lifting. And anyway, so I finally get to the top of the stairs. My son's standing by the door to the crawl space under the house, and it's open. He's opened it, and I look in and I was like, "Is anyone in there?" He doesn't say anything. So I put my head in, and there's this guy, my neighbor, my new neighbor. He's under there, and I can smell it straight away. It's just alcohol. So there's this guy. He's been locked under his house. So I come on, mate, get out. I get him out from under his house. Anyway, turns out his missus locked him under there. His missus locked him under the house and left him there. I was like, how long have you been under there? And he was like, 4 hours. He's been locked under the house, yelling and screaming. And I let him out. And he was drunk. He was absolutely maggoted. So I don't know why. I don't know if he was being a dick and the missus locked him under there and then went out, or if she was being a bitch and just locked him under there because he was drunk or whatever. But yeah, that's one way to meet your neighbors, right? So not only did I meet my neighbor by freeing him from captivity under his house yesterday, I also got a cuddle. I got a cuddle from a neighbor. So yeah, that was a weird story. So I just thought I'd share that. And yeah, so yeah, this is my story. This is my video on how I wanted to just talk about reading and how we should do more reading as a society, I think, and reading hard things, hard books, not just easy books. Like, you should read more. And it doesn't matter if it's fiction. You can read fiction. Like, I'm reading fiction right now. It's Atlas Shrugged is fiction. If it's written well and it's written in a challenging way, then it's good exercise for your brain. So yeah, get amongst it. Have a read. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think of my my thoughts. Let me know if you want a book review of Atlas Shrugged. Yeah, and yeah, don't forget to if you like this sort of videos, like and subscribe. I'll be letting everyone know what comes to my mind from now on. I've got nothing else to do. I'm a house husband. Maxine. I sit at home all day. I'm so efficient and I'm such a domestic goddess. I've got time, so I can make these videos. I can read books. I can rescue the neighbors from their captivity under the house. Yeah. Anyway, I'm waffling now. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.